Okay. Hello, ladies. Um, Thanks for watching this recording if you're watching it. So far, I'm the only one on the call. Someone might pop on. So, yeah, a benefit of technology is that we can connect through time and space. Today, I really want to use a ball. So, any kind of ball, if you have it, if not even I'll give you an alternative if you don't have a ball. But I think even like a rolled up sock might work. I feel like everyone should be able to find a ball. Or you're watching this class recorded, so don't do it until you get a ball. I really like these pinky balls because they're really inexpensive. And then a blanket and maybe a bolster if you have it, but if you don't have a bolster, we'll use a blanket or something like that. Or like, since this is a pre-recorded class, you could take some towels and roll it up and maybe even put a rubber band around it so the towels stay in shape. Okay, so today the invitation is just to be where you are. And instead of having this outward look, where we're always trying to go out into the future and do more and looking at our path in like this narrow way that's forward, can we, at least for this hour, practice just being here? And maybe instead of like this future idea down the path, maybe in this right here, we can go down the rabbit hole into a deeper part of ourself. So it's not about being somewhere else in the future or climbing up a ladder higher. It's about realizing that right here, there's actually an even bigger invitation to go in and expand. If that makes sense. I've been reading this new book about myofascial release, and they're talking about how scientists have known for a really long time that humans only use 10% of their brain, and 90% of our brain we don't use. And this book's hypothesis is saying that they think that the 10% that we're using is our logical brain, our brain that helps us figure things out and plan and organize and is linear. And that this other 90% that we're not accessing is like the connection to the body and the intuition and the wisdom and the experience. So we're trying to learn how to tap into this 90% of ourselves that is unexplored. And it's going to take a lot of like just coming and practicing being here and reminding again and again that we're not trying to get anywhere or solve anything or fix anything. Okay. Let's start by taking an upright posture with your eyes closed. You take a sigh out through your mouth. And let yourself sit with this idea that we're not trying to solve anything or fix anything. We might have things that we want to see a difference in. And yet at the same time, like trying to separate that from your yoga practice. So this is just my invitation. So it can be more of an experience of you for yourself without it being like equaling up to something. This is such a refreshing thought because it means that you're not doing anything wrong. You can't do anything wrong. We're just told from such a young age that we need to be more, do more, whatever it is. And then we keep that pattern throughout our life. So let's continue to sit, maybe even slump a little bit and become a little bit less perfect and feel that that's okay. Begin to follow the breath. As you inhale, follow the breath in through the nose, down through the back of the throat, down the back body into the pelvis. And as you exhale, follow the breath as it lifts back up through the throat and out through the nose or the mouth. Maybe if you're a visualizer, you could visualize a color or maybe even an image. You could also put a word or words to this breath. So inhale, taking something like white light in, maybe love. Exhale, maybe breathing out pollution and fear. Really nice. We're going to take your left arm and stretch the left arm out to the left. See how far you can stretch the left arm out away from you. You can stretch it out and then pull it in. Soften or close your eyes and try to go into your experience. I'm not trying to get it to look like mine. It's not a destination we're trying to get to. It's a doorway for you to have your own experience. But trying to get some articulation around the shoulder and begin to add your fingers, stretch out through your fingers. And notice how just the smallest movements of the fingers changes the stretch, and how there's a stretch in like different parts of your body. You could move your right ear to your right shoulder, maybe move your chin or your fingers. I really like doing the two-piece fingers and stretching them out. Or twirling your hand around, going in. Really nice. Then bring your left hand down to the floor and stretch your right arm over to the, or your left arm over to the right. I got my COVID shot last night. I'm feeling sicker than I was anticipating, so my brain might not work quite as well as normal. So don't mind the miss-ups. Okay, really nice. In this forward fold, we're gonna spiral in. So drop your left shoulder more down towards the floor and try to puff up through the left back. And you can reach through the left fingertips, maybe move them, maybe articulate the shoulder around. Find those deeper parts of yourself that you don't notice when you're always like on to the next thing, you're looking forward. Okay, now we're gonna spiral up, still staying on this side, turn it back up. Same thing, how much back can you turn and stretch and shoulder to find the right stretch for you. Oh, and then use your right hand, push yourself up, let your left arm slowly float down to the floor. Fingertips touch the floor. And feel yourself connected to the earth. Really nice. We'll do the second side. Stretch your right arm up. That T level and stretch through your hand. And stretch your shoulder out and in. You know, because from such a young age, we're brought up to like do more, be more, always achieve, do all the things, like don't rest. Since that tends to be a common theme, stretch through the fingers, maybe left ear, left shoulder. It ends up putting this fear in our head that like, there's just this constant fear and stress, right? That's just like normal part of life. Okay, go into the side stretch. And that stress that we hold in our mind to make sure we don't forget anything or, you know, whatever it is for you, that stress that we hold in our mind is affected deeply to the soft tissues of the body. So just by being stressed, the body gets like so tight and constricted, which then makes us feel more stressed, which then makes us not want to be in our body because it's not comfortable. So then we start to like hover outside of our body or more in our head, and we're not connected to the sensations or the feelings of the body because it just doesn't feel good there. And spiral in, right shoulder comes down, puff up through the back of the ribs. One aspect of this practice that we're doing that has so many levels to it is just making ourselves a more comfortable place so that we will be more in our body, more embodied. instead of stuck in the mind, stuck in the 10% only. Okay, spiral it back up. And then push yourself up. Let your hand float down. Let's take a few head rotations. So nice and tall, rotating the head around. About on the opposite side from which the head is rotating will be the line of stretch. Can you begin to follow with your awareness the sensation of stretch as it moves all the way around your neck? Can you maybe feel not only the sensation of stretch on the neck, but the pull through this living fabric of tissues, so you're feeling a stretch in different parts of your body? Like I feel on my back or down my ribs. Take it in the other direction. Noticing as well if there's a part of the rotation where you can't feel the stretch as much. And notice the reaction to the mind when you notice that. And we want there to be a training in the mind. So when you notice something that's like not balanced, the critical brain doesn't come in with its stories. So I really like the saying, that's interesting, and just being curious. No, no expectation for the sides of our body to be even. And bring your awareness back to your breath. Keep doing the head circles, but see if you can, your awareness of breath changes it. Okay, and then slowly bring your head back through center. All right, let your eyes blink open. You can stretch out your legs for a moment. We're going to use our ball, and we're going to rub it on our face. And so if you would prefer to go clean your ball for a moment, you can. Just pause me, go clean your ball. So yeah, we'll get into it. Let me move the camera closer. So a lot of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm like exploring my offerings, is figuring out how we can be in the parasympathetic nervous system more, because always being in the sympathetic flight or fight is not good for us, which we so know. But yeah, it's so hard living in the world the way we do to not always be getting kicked to that sympathetic mode, because we're constantly picking up threats, whether it fits in our environment or more often than not, like our mind. So one of the ways we can do that is by activating the vagus nerve, which is the biggest nerve for the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest nervous system. And so the places we'll be massaging and the texture of massages that we'll be doing, these are all just one way that we can turn on the vagus nerve. So when you feel yourself kind of like, I'm freaking out, then you can use these tools of like, okay, how do I kick on my nerve? Or what I really like doing in my practice every day is like making sure in my practice I'm stimulating the vagus nerve so I can be a little bit calmer and I can feel relaxed. So it's just a cool skill. So you can do this without the ball if you don't have one. You can do it with your fingers, but I really like the ball. So we're going to start with it on the right cheek, and we're going to be going underneath the cheekbone on the jaw. I'm going to go all the way over to this corner here. So like whenever I do balls, I like to slowly massage over the whole section. Almost like a hello before you just go straight in. And noticing how it feels, if any areas feel more sensitive than other areas. Trying to notice without the thinking mind. So like feeling it without the words or the story. And then we're going to start more medial, so towards the midline. So bring the ball in and push into your face and up a little bit. So it's kind of like your upper jaw is resting on the ball. Or you could do this with the edges of your finger. You're always in control of the pressure, so you could push the ball more, or you could lean your face into the ball more. And here you could take little movements like rocking your face side to side, or even twisting the ball a little, or my favorite in this one is moving my jaw side to side or forward and back. And then we're going to move it in a little bit, and we're going to go to this little, oh, I just heard a little click. That's TMJ joint, where the jaw connects to the temporal bone. And the mandible, temporal mandibular joint. You can do little circles. Again, you can twist it. You can move the jaw. I'm always so surprised with how much tension I have in my face. Come back to your breath in this moment. Try to enter in. It's not like you need to do anything. You just need to pay attention. Really nice. I'm going to take the ball up to the temples. Your temple bone's right up here, kind of like there's this little hollower area, and up here you can massage around it. So first doing a hello. And then noticing where you want to stay in that little section. We'll do 3. And you can just do straight pressure. You can twist, or you can move your jaw or something. So when we do pressure with the ball, the compression, this is true with massage or any kind of compression like the foam roller. Find a different place or stay at the same one. Compression, deep compression, like catches the nervous system attention. But then when the compression is sustained long enough, the vagus nerve slows the heart rate, and then it slows your breath, and then it begins to kick you over to rest and digest. So it's really cool when you do these sustained pressures. Normally it takes more than a minute, so maybe not as much as some of the other ones. It's really cool to be able to kind of feel it get intense, then feel it kind of peak, and then feel your body relax around it. Okay, I lied. Let's just do 2. Okay, then make your way to the third eye. And you can twist it so you can see the skin move. So I'm getting the exfoliation of the fascia. Or just like rub it in. And we'll do the other side. Actually, first just sit and notice. Open your jaw, move your head a little bit. We're not noticing good or bad, we're just noticing differences. We're just practicing being more sensitive to the way our body feels so that we can practice coming back into our body, being more embodied. Okay, second one, so we'll do our hello roll underneath the jaw. Can you soften your pelvic floor? So all of the muscles that hang like a hammock under the pelvis. The pelvis is really connected to the jaw. So as you're massaging and just becoming more aware of the tension you hold in that jaw, the same amount of tension is in the pelvis. It's really, it's so correlated. So yeah, if you kind of relax your jaw, hit your pelvic floor. Go find a spot, start more medial. Let the weight of your head kind of drop. See if you can find that spot where you like the vagus nerve gets activated and you become more calm. Okay. If you want to hang out there a little bit longer, you can. And come over here to this other point. As I shift more in my mindset around yoga, I keep wanting to empower you as the student, because it's not like this guided practice where you're trying to get it to look a certain way, but there's this heavy part of it of you going deeper into yourself and getting more comfortable there. So I can kind of guide you and give you cues to look for and stuff, but eventually if you're like, oh no, I'm staying here, this feels so good, or it would even feel good if I came down here, and while I'm talking up here, you're like, oh, this is where it's at. Just being more in tune to you is the goal, not following me better. Okay, next going up to the temple. And then to the third eye. Yawning, good sign that your sympathetic nervous system is on. Tummy grumbling, tooting, all good signs that you're deep breaths. Okay, really nice. Now let's stroke your SCM, so this muscle that comes down from your ear to your collarbone, so just slightly stroking it. This is one of the things that is supposed to be good to turn on the vagus nerve, is this like light strokes here or like fast friction. And little taps. And then soft again. Nice, and then soft. And friction. You even feel to your sides of the neck, feel the same under your hand. Okay, and then little taps. Friction. Soft. Yes, I didn't notice. Okay, last one. We're going to be massaging the ear, like not in the ear hole, but around like crevices of the ear. So you just pinch between your thumb and your index finger. If any of these are standing out, like, oh, that was really cool, maybe write it down and like experiment it by yourself sometime. Okay, really nice. We'll start to move a little bit more. Take your feet out forward. And windshield wiper. Noticing where you feel this the most. And then bring your awareness to your feet and feel the way this feels on your feet. And go up to your knees, bring your awareness to your knees as they go back and forth. And then my favorite spot, the glutes. Notice how you're getting a little glute massage here. And go up to the navel, a full twist. And go up through the chest. As you twist the knees to one side, push through the hand and twist your chest in the opposite. Really nice. Stretch your legs forward. Point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, Okay. Bring your bum forward, we'll roll down. And then stretch through the body. Through your toes, through your fingers. And then pull your knees in, soles of the feet on the floor. We're gonna do a few bridges. So open your arms out to the sides so they can be by your side. So I've been liking mine out like a T. Let the T. And then push into your feet, lift your hips up and forward so the back of your shoulders are still on the floor. Try to push your knees away from your hips. And then exhale, roll down. Inhale on your breath, roll up. This time let's do the little walk. So pushing the knee forward, out from the hip, opposite hip drops, and repeating. Really nice, lower the hips back down. Pull the knees into your belly and roll over to the right. Fetal position. Push yourself up to a seat at the front of your yoga mat. Feet on the floor, again, roll down. Full stretch. And then open the arms out like a T. Bend your feet in. Push into your feet, scoop your butt under and pull your hips up off the floor. And then round your spine down. Round your spine up. Nice. This time we're going to push the back bend into the heart. So now from the hips, push into the feet. Try to push your feet away from your face and get your back bend to lift up more through the heart space. So chest lifts up to the face. And lower down. Great. Pull your knees into your belly. Roll over to the left. And sit on it. Really nice. Cross your feet or however you want to do it. Throw your legs around you and come up to table. As in our table, we're going to do our little fascia back line resistance. So come down onto your forearms. Take your knees a little bit wide if that's more comfortable for you. Elbows pulling back. And then sit your hips back. Little pulses. And then sit all the way back into child's pose. You rock your forehead on the ground from one side to the other. And as you inhale, roll up back over your hands for table. Tuck your toes under and then push your hips back and we're going to come up into Malasana squat. So heels off the floor or on the floor. I like them off. Just begin to shift around a little bit. Just moving my hips from one side to the other. All right, come through center. Walk yourself back forward through table and then tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Okay, in your downward facing dog, bend your knees towards your heels and then come back to downward facing dog. So these little pulses. And then into these pulses, we're going to add a swizzle. So the next time my hips shift back, I'm going to move both of my heels to the left and bend my knees. Come forward, shift back, bend my knees, both of my heels go to the right. Okay, come back to center. And then step all of your feet all the way back up to your hands. Uttanasana, standing forward fold. And then we're going to slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Once you get up, draw your head back. Roll your shoulders back. If you feel lightheaded, you can take your hands to your head. And take your feet a little bit wider than hip distance. A little bend in them. Do little bounces. And stretch your left arm up and over to the right. Little bounces and come up. Shift your right arm up and over to the left. Little bounces. And come up. Again, to the right with the left hand. This time, we're going to spiral down. Your right hand can be on your hip if you want. I'm turning my left shoulder in, expanding through the diagonal line of the back body. And then stay here, spiral up. Turn the palm up to the sky. And then use your bounces a little. Pull you up. If you feel longer on your left side, stretch your right arm up and over. Spiral in. Lengthen through your back. Push your bum slightly back. Stretch out through your right hand. And turn up to the sky. Right palm faces up. Little bounces. Really nice. Come on up. Okay. So this is where we're going to use the bolster or your rolls folded up. You might even be able to do this with like a couch cushion. Couch cushion might be a really good idea. Oh, excuse me. So these shot effects yesterday, last time I got my shot, I came down and I wasn't feeling weird, and it took me a while to be like, oh yeah, I just got a vaccine. Okay, so we're gonna put our hands behind the bolster. The bolster's not in the curve of my back, it's lower. So it's like in the middle of my butt. So we have this fascia, right, that's encircling or encasing our whole body. So we want to move through all the planes. So this is a stretch for the front plane of the body. Push your hips a little bit forward, draw the shoulders back, push the throat back. This is a pretty uncomfortable one for me. And I can feel it. I can feel the fascia throughout my body being asked to open. And I can feel this pattern in me that wants to stay closed. And I can feel that wanting to stay closed is more than just this physical pattern. You know, see if you can be gentle and just be and breathe. Okay. You can do that for longer if you want. It's a good one. And then I love going into this with the forward fold. So again, you can use this with a couch cushion or a rolled up blanket. Just be aware that the knees might try to hyperextend. So keep a little bend in the knees. Let's actually start like up a little bit. So what's really great about this is pressure in the abdomen is really, really healthy for the organs and the back, and it tells the nervous system to calm down. And also you're getting to work on some of the myofascial area, the fascia areas, especially like the diaphragm. So if the diaphragm's tight, we're not gonna be able to breathe as well. And so again, it's gonna make it harder for us to relax. So we're gonna start to come into this fold. You could have your hands on like a chair if you want, if this is uncomfortable. Maybe like your forearms are on a chair. And remembering that this little pain cycle is normal, and pain's the wrong word, but this little cycle of intensity is normal. So see if you can follow it. Really nice. And then remove your roll. Forward fold. Notice how it feels. And then again, we're going to roll all the way up, one vertebrae at a time. Okay. Now we're going to use the ball with the foot. We're going to be hitting, so we'll do our hello stretch. And then we're going to be hitting 4 points. I'll show you what those are. So it's going to be this point, which has to do with the heart and the lung, which is also the point we squeeze for that L3, so that point. And then in the middle of the arch on the medial side, the middle of the arch on the lateral side, and then just above the heel, which I forgot what that point represents. But first we'll do a hello stroke with the foot. Sorry, I haven't positioned to this camera better. So I like going forward and back. Up each toe. And then also like going side to side. Sometimes I'll even do a spiral. Uneven surfaces are such good medicine for the feet. So having the foot, like you can feel how it's awkward at some angles. So that's really good for the feet. Okay, let's find that first point, that L3 in the center of the ball of the foot, or the base. And then you're gonna shift your weight on it. So again, I love how you're always in control. So you can back off the weight or push on it. Sometimes, depending on my balance, I'll use my other heel. Really nice. And then do a little bit of a roll around and find your way to your medial inner arch and figure out for you what spot on there and at what angle are you going to push into it. And then go to the outer, the lateral side. And go to the heel point, which is just forward of the heel. Really nice. We'll do the second or first stand. Actually, let's do a forward fold again. And see if your right leg feels any different than your left leg. And come on up. Begin to greet your left foot. And what's really interesting about the feet, you find the plantar or the point under the ball of the foot. The plantar fascia, the fascia that starts under the feet, it goes all the way up and connects onto the back of the skull. But the fascia from the bottom of the foot innervates through the calf, it innervates through the hamstring, probably innervates through the tibia, and it innervates through all of these muscles. So it's not just like one line, it's like throughout the whole calf is this spider web of soft tissue that started at the foot. So by rolling out the feet, we're releasing these little tight threads that go through all of the muscles. So, and work your way over to your inner arch. And then outer foot. And sometimes when I have a hard time feeling present, I'll put my hands on my body just to help me remember to be in my body and not in the thinking mind. Heel. And get that heel spot, front of the heel. Really nice. And come to another forward fold. As you inhale, slide your hands up your thighs. Lengthen your spine forward. Exhale, roll down. I'll do 2 more. Inhale. Unwind and stretch the chest forward. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Really nice. Plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Move around in your down dog a little bit. And then lower onto your knees and look forward. So either with your roller or with your rolled up towel, or you can even do this with a block. I just want some height. So this is going to be similar to what we did standing, that front body opener, but it's going to be passive. That's why I love it so much more. So the same idea, we're going to have the lift about in the center of our pelvis, so not too much up to the low back and not down to the thighs. And then let your hips lift up and your arms reach out. It's kind of like a shavasana. And bend your knees, soles of the feet on the floor, and windshield wiper or heels on the floor. Then from here, we're going to do the psoas stretch. Slide your right leg out. Pull your left knee in. You can hold just like the fabric of your pants because the hips are elevated here. You'll get a little bit more access to the front hip muscles. Circle out your left foot. And circle it in the other direction. Great, switch sides. Right knee pulls in, left foot extends. Circle. Really nice. Stretch your foot out. Full stretch. Pull the knees in. Move your thing. And come on up. Really nice. Let's roll out the hips a little bit. So on the right glute. Let's get the left one. So a little bit, it's that compression. And from here, let's take the right knee forward into pigeon, or you can lay on your back for reclined pigeon. Or take your right knee forward, left leg back, right knee a little bit wider than your hip. Notice what's coming up. And that's okay, whatever it is. Sit back over onto your right hip. Push yourself up. Throw your left foot around. If your right knee doesn't like being bent, it could be straight out in front of you. Nice. Take a twist to the left. The right elbow hugs the left knee in as you twist to the back of the room. So nice and tall, we're gonna hug the knee in and twist to the right. And we're gonna twist to the left again. Either hug or maybe this time elbow. Get long through the spine. And then unwind, keep your legs like this, and we're gonna do a little bow to the right. Maybe stretch your left hand out. Right, come on back up. Second side, left knee forward, pigeon. Both sides of the body, we're not expecting them to be the same, so maybe this side will look different than your last side. If you want an anchor for your mind, you could come back to the breath, maybe adding your visualization or your words or your colors like we did at the beginning of class. Inhaling a quality you want to embody more of, and exhaling, releasing. Really nice. Walk your hands up. Take your leg all the way around. Again, this left leg could be straight. Sit nice and tall. Imagine your tailbone's getting pulled down as the crown of your head is getting pulled up. Keeping the length. Twist to the right. Left elbow hugs the knee in. Spread across the chest. And then inhale, unwind. Hug, twist to the left. Right elbow hugs in. Or could elbow the knee. And then unwind. Twist to the right again. Maybe elbow or hug. See if you can get the movement of breath to be happening in your torso more than your chest. Deep down into your pelvis and your belly. You're getting movement and pressure in the abdomen. Unwind, and we're going to come to the left and do our little push-up bow. Maybe stretching this right arm out forward. Really nice. Come back up. Come to have a seat. And we're going to do a 4-count pranayama. And sometimes this is called square breathing. So we're going to count internally in our mind 4 times as we breathe in. And then we're going to hold our breath for 4 seconds, or to our own count. And then we're going to exhale for 4. And then we'll hold it for 4. Inhale 4, hold 4, exhale forward, hold 4. So we want the equal segments, but the counting can be as fast or slow as you want. The goal is to find a slow enough rhythm that you can be calm. But if you try to go too slow, you create more anxiety, right? Because you can't breathe. So experiment with how quickly you want to count. Okay, we'll do this for a few minutes. If you forget what you're doing, catch yourself thinking, just come back to this square breathing. Notice where you might be holding tension. You might be holding more tension during one part of the breath, and see if you're just open to letting that go. Awareness comes the possibility of change. And do it for one more minute. The next time you inhale, hold the breath briefly and release it. Sit and notice. All right, let's do a few spinal rotations, rotating the spine in a circle around the hips. And we'll go in the other direction. Come back through center. We're going to hold our L3 point, which is where the first metatarsal, which is the enormous toe, that big toe bone, and the second toe bone come down until there's a little triangle there. So on the back with your thumb, you're going to be pushing into that spot we did with the ball. And with your index finger, you're going to be pushing into that little triangle formed by those two bones. Before you push in, just kind of feel it and notice the like buoyancy of the soft tissue there. If it feels like kind of full, or if it feels kind of hollow, or if it feels like springy. All of that is giving you information to this quality of your energy line of this lung line. You don't even need to know what it means. It's just you're just beginning to, again, pay more attention to the body so we can be in the body more, and this 90% more than just stuck in the head. Really nice release. I always love stroking my feet. Foot stroke. Stretch your feet out again, pointing flats. That's my practice for you this morning. It was only an hour. But sometimes it's nice